Yes, I dedicate my love to only you, for it's you that's in my heart now and forever. It's a love, my dear, that will never part. Do you recall those special moments, how we held each other in our arms, and how we danced and laughed away the hours? They are the moments I could never part. Do you recall those special moments, how we held each other in our arms, and how we danced and laughed away the hours? They are the moments I could never part. Yes, I remember those moments, and now I dedicate my love to you, dear. Yes, I dedicate my love to only you, for it's you that's in my heart now and forever, ever. It's a love, my dear, I will never, never part. And forever I will hold you tender in my heart. Come gather around, my friends. It's another day with Mr. B and friends. Walking the walk, talking the talk, not holding back. Ooh, the bee stings. Oh, watch out. Come gather around, my friends. It's another day with Mr. B and friends. Walking the walk, talking the talk, not holding back. Ooh, ooh, the bee stings. Ooh, watch out. Watch out.
Watch out. Hey, g'day, it's Mr. B here. And hey, welcome to the show, everybody. And it's a beautiful sunny day here in Perth, Western Australia. The birds are chirping, the sun's shining. And I have a couple of great guys, friends with me on the show today. My usual guys, and always here. First of all, I'll bring in a good morning to you there, Gerald. How are you, mate?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And Gerald, it's from Midwest Night Watchers, 24/7 podcast. This guy, hey, he puts on a good show. Believe me, he really does. Anyway, I'll move on to the king himself, the man, the legend. They write stories about this guy. Okay, I don't know if they're all decent though, but anyway, I'll bring him on. Hey, g'day there, Mr. Goodall. Jim,
cheers, greetings. Gerald, good seeing you.
Nice seeing you, Jim.
Yeah.
It's been a while, guys. Yeah, I've had a bit of time off, and I call it reflecting, just to reflect, because we have what they call the same stuff every day. So it's good to have a break, I think, and it give the viewers a bit of a break too, hearing the same old babbling coming on from my mouth. You know what I mean? Give their ears a rest, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been up to, Gerald, these days?
Oh, I don't know. I've been doing shows and trying to keep up with everybody. I mean, we're doing our Sunday shows, our Piercing the Veil, and we got Wednesday night for the Night Owl Lounge, and then we started adding Friday and Saturday nights playing old scary movies, old B films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like them, mate. Well, the other night I actually stayed awake for a couple of hours just watching them all. It was fabulous. I like it. It brings back memories, because our generation, as you know, Jim, we went through the black and white period before color.
I mean, we went to 3 channels most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we had one of the first TVs in the neighborhood. And my dad being a mad scientist, electrical engineer, of course we would have a TV early on. But we had one in 1947.
Yeah. And TV those days were a piece of furniture, remember? I mean,
oh gosh, yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, they weighed you couldn't steal one of those,
That's for sure.
You see the thieves at Walmart or Target running out with the 96-inch TV that weighs 12 pounds or whatever, compared to the 14-inch. Oh, that was a big one, a 14-inch thing that would, you need 4 people to lift it up to put it on the dolly, and hopefully the floor will hold up. So,
So we've been doing all the old classics. So we've been doing Lost in Space, the original one, and doing it all in a row. Then we got Kolchak, the Night Stalker. We've been doing those. We've been doing Alfred Hitchcock's Presents. We've been doing Twilight Zone.
I'm saying you have to do Twilight Zone. My favorite Twilight Zone was it was called The Boy Who Could Predict Earthquakes.
Oh,
I recall that one. Yeah.
And
I like the One Step Beyond was a good one too.
Yeah, and this kid, he was world famous. I mean, he was predicting all sorts of stuff. He'd see it in his dreams, and it was time for his weekly view of the world in general. And kid's 5, and he says, tomorrow morning, when the world wakes up, there'll be no more hunger, there'll be no more sickness, there'll be no more wars. Mm-hmm. And of course, everybody went just absolutely ballistic. How could this kid predict that? So they pulled him off the air, and he's being chastised by the producer and the director and other people on the thing. And he was feeling pretty bad, and he goes to his mom, and he said, "Mom, I got a question. What's a supernova?" Of course, it took me 60 some odd years to learn the fact that our star, the sun, is not big enough to supernova. It'd have to be at least 8 times the physical size.
Oh yeah, will engulf the Earth before that ever happens. Was it 4.5 billion years from now? Isn't it something like that? So
we better start preparing now. There's going to put a tax on something to prepare.
I know. Trump says he's going to lower the taxes.
We probably will. I mean, with all the corruption he's finding, my God, I mean, it's going to hit. I think, by the end of this month, he will identify, I think, probably $1 trillion.
I believe that's
fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah, look, I believe that reporter from News Nation were talking the other day, saying Trump's a bit concerned about being assassinated because he wants to reveal the truth about ufology and the secrets behind it, and because if he can get this information out, you can guarantee it's not just going to change America. it's going to change the world.
It's gonna destroy deep state.
About time too. About time. I mean, I was listening to Stephen Greer talking the other day on his YouTube channel, and he was actually. I mean, it's the first time he actually spoke sense to me, to be honest with you. But he actually said, you know, with all this technology to getting from down crafts, now that they're weaponizing and using it to bring down UFOs, you know? And he says, what type of a message is that giving out, you know? I mean, it's like, are we trying to start a war against a race we don't even understand or comprehend, especially if they're so far advanced than us?
I mean, if they go across the universe willy-nilly, all you have to do is get your big thumb and go squish. Earth, right. You're gone. You're too much of a pain in the ass.
Exactly. I mean, we don't really we seem to shoot at everything that moves. I mean, even wildlife, we kill wildlife at random just because it's, hey, how can you call killing something a sport? You know what I mean? It's sick. We live in a sick world, and we can't deny it, you know. But anyway, Jim, I've actually digged out the archives here, an old 1999 interview you actually done. You actually, you're a handsome bloody fella back in those days. I could see. You know?
Yeah, I don't know what happened between then and now, but
God, you must have burnt the candles at both ends, mate. I reckon.
Yeah, you reckon correctly.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it on now. We can all have a listen. If you want me to stop, just put your hand up, eh?
Published author. I've written for 3 different publications. I have a number of articles on black programs and secret projects for Jane's Defense Weekly, for Interavia, for Aviation Week Space Technology. I have 3 books right here that I have authored just on the F-117 alone. That is where I spend all my spare time, is digging. I've had my neighbors questioned. I've had my mail opened. I've had my phones tapped. I was called up for Desert Shield. I'm in the Air National Guard. They held up my clearance at the Pentagon. They didn't deny my clearance. They held it up because I asked too many questions of my government. And my response was, that is my job. As an American taxpayer, it's my job to question my government whenever I feel it fit. And I do. And I make a lot of enemies. And I'm referred to as that SOB from Minnesota. I have quite a reputation in the Pentagon for being able to dig up information when no one else can. What's going on in Area 51 today, based on information from first-person interviews I've made over the last 6 or 7 years, there are at least 8 black programs flying out of Groom Lake, out of Area 51. That does not count the B-2 bomber because it's not a black program. It does not count the F-117, which is virtually a white program today. There are at least 2 very, very high-speed aircraft that have been reported since 1982 is when we've heard the first reports of them. One of them is a small aircraft. It goes approximately Mach 4 to Mach 6. There's an aircraft that has been tracked out of the Bay Area TRACON in Oakland, California by the Federal Aviation Administration Center at least 8 times since 1986, flying in excess of 10,000 miles an hour going through controlled airspace, and a very, very large aircraft at that. Besides the 2 high-speed aircraft, there is a stealth or low observable electronic warfare aircraft. It's been referred to as Excalibur. There is an aircraft that is designed to fly very, very high, but very, very slow and very, very quiet.
If you don't mind me asking, Jim, what was Excalibur?
That was a low observable equivalent of the EA-6B Prowler or the EF-18 Growler. It was an electronic warfare airplane. Right. And I mean, I had a chief master sergeant from the Air Force saying, "Hey, you know everything." Yeah, sure. Yeah, because it says I saw this when when I was guarding a hangar at Area 51, and it was it's called Excalibur. There's there's a new base, and it's been rumored that it's an extreme northeast corner of Nevada. It's within a 90-minute drive from Idaho Falls, probably going through Jackpot, which is right on the border of Idaho and Nevada on US 93. And it's in that area. And if you go into Google Earth and you look into that area, it's very pixelated. So they've been asked to don't make it available to the general public.
Yeah.
And that right there pisses me off, because seeing a base or knowing where a base is not violating any classified program or secret. And the only thing, 99% of the reason why things are classified are to keep it from the general public and keep it from the bean counters in Congress.
Right.
And that is the primary objective of a classified program.
Okay. I'll just continue with the video now, mate.
Reports as a flying triangle, much like the canceled McDonnell Douglas General Dynamics A-12 that was going to be an attack aircraft. Just recently, out of Lancaster, California, taken off from Palmdale, which is Air Force Plant 42, and that's where the B-1 was built. The B-2 bomber is being built there. The F-117 is being serviced there in the U-2 operations. There has been at least 3 sightings of triangular-shaped aircraft being launched out of that area. They made no noise, and just the people just happened to look up and see these things leaving the area at relatively low altitude. But again, no noise.
Are there any unconventional technologies, propulsion technologies involved?
Yes, I have had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious. Another individual who was an NCO, an E9, which is the highest grade you can get as an enlisted man. He's a chief master sergeant in the Air Force. Was a safety specialist. He had 3 different tours of duty at Groom Lake on various programs. Now, he had no connection with my friend who worked on the other black programs. We were talking, I interviewed him at Nellis in 1985, 86 time frame. And I said, what's out there? And again, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, we have things out there that are literally out of this world. I said, explain. He said, I can't. But trust me, see, we have things that are better than Star Trek, better than anything you can see in the movie.
Turn your mic on.
Yeah, I know. I was tapping away on my phone then. Didn't want you guys to hear. Yeah, let me say, hey, g'day, Brian. Brian's watching on the side on Facebook, and Kate from Sydney, lovely lady. She's there on the side watching as well. Quite a few people there on the side there in Facebook. So yeah, g'day to everybody and welcome, and also to my good friend Dave Emmons from Strange Reality. He'll come on the show with us one day. I'm pretty sure. I'll go on his as well. I'll stir him up. Why not? Anyway, so yeah, I find that was absolutely fascinating. I mean, that must bring back a lot of memories to you there, Jim.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been on as far as TV programs go, that wasn't, that I was on wasn't a podcast, and it was actually done at John Lear's house.
All right. Okay.
All the stuff you see all those photos on the wall. You
Yeah.
couldn't put, and I think his office was 20 by 20. So he had a good, and you couldn't put anything else up on the wall. And about 20% of the photos and stuff that he had up there came from me, which always tickled the hell out of me.
Yeah, I've seen some collections of your photographs over the years. There, Jim, you've got a good collection yourself, apparently.
Oh yeah,
You told me the other day you had a lot of photographs sent to you. How many photographs were sent to you the other day?
No, I sent out a bunch of photos.
You sent out. Okay.
Yeah, there's a woman. I never met her. I've communicated with her,
Right.
And she's her name's Linda Sheffield Miller,
Right.
and her dad was an SR-71 pilot, and she has a group called the Habu Brats,
Right.
and I decided, so she's always posting on something because her dad wrote all sorts of about almost all his missions. He wrote stories of what transpired going to and from and whatever. So, and she's always posting interesting things about the Blackbird programs as it pertains from her dad. And she's had a lot of stuff go up, and the quality of the images have been, so. So I've cleaned them up or sent them, replacements for them that are really sharp. And I decided right after the first year, since she is so dedicated, and I'm going to be 80 next month. So, I could go anytime. And I decided.
No. You said you're going to live to 105, and
Yeah. That's the dream. At 80 years old, I'm still in great shape. Other than I can't see for shit, and I can't hear for squat, and my knees are shot.
Hey, that not hearing can be a blessing, my friend.
Oh, it is. Yeah. And because
you all know where I'm coming from.
and because I'm totally. I have no hearing at all in my left ear. My auditory nerve was severed. I always sleep on my good ear. And
I'll have to tell Rosemary to go to your right.
And I don't. When I roll over my good ear, I don't hear anything. Nothing. Thunderstorms, wife yelling at me. Nothing. Just roll over. It was.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Gerald probably knows this, is experiencing the same things.
Yeah, the love of my life. Yes, she's the love of my life, and yes, my earrings sometimes.
Yeah. No, I have a backdrop of our back. This was 2000. New Year's Eve, 2014. Actually, 2015.
Right.
New Year's Eve. Went out. We were at a function, neighborhood function. Went out, and there was 6 inches of snow on everything.
Right.
I said,
"Hey, sorry, Jim. Look, I've got a friend, Eric Mitchell. He's an experiencer, and he's actually got a trailer out at the moment, which I'd like to play. And actually, believe it, you're in it as well.
bro, play it.
Yeah, I will. It only goes for a couple of minutes, so it's not very long. So it's on there, guys.
At the time, I didn't believe in anything UFO, definitely. I grew up traditionally thinking that people like that were absolutely insane.
Can you imagine what it's like having that experience yourself and not being able to tell your family or tell your community, tell your church, tell the people that are the closest to you that should have your back no matter what?
Imagine seeing another life form and not being able to talk about it.
This is happening all the time.
People that have gotten to the stage
where they have accepted what these ETs have done to them to alter them to be able to communicate with them.
He can make a sound with his brain.
First you have an alien abduction, then you have an abduction at the hand of humans. Harassment, surveillance, monitoring.
There were so many people involved with this story. It just really captivated me.
You're dealing with people's emotions. You're dealing with people's lives.
I don't fit in this box that you created for me. We are entitled to know what is going on. Has the Constitution changed? No.
Are they real? Yeah. Are they here? Yeah.
With experiencers, it's always why me? Why does this happen to me? A strong emphasis, not a weak one. And, what do I do with it? Try to figure out and uncover the truth, or try to expose the fact that this is going on in the first place. We are out there.
Well,
That was the UFO guys, the UFO
Yes.
garage guys. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And Eric's a really nice guy. I've actually spoken to him quite a few times, and he actually shared an apartment with what's his name, Fire in the Sky, Travis Walton.
Oh.
Yeah. He shared an apartment when the daughters went to college or something like that, and they're actually at some university. I know Eric was being studied by some professor with what happened to him, because the guy, they'd actually put a microphone to his head, right, and he can actually count, and you can actually see it reading on the actual needle just by thinking it, right. But they also made him open his mouth, so you no tongue moving or anything, so he wasn't making any noise in his mouth. So he actually did it with his mouth open. So and they're still getting a reading in this count and stop and count, and it was actually count. Absolutely fascinating. He actually moved home because he was getting fed up with all the attention he was getting. He just didn't want anything to do with this UFO stuff. And apparently, where he moved to, what happened? The UFO turned up. They found him. he couldn't get away from it. He just couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he will be coming on the show with us one day soon. He promised me, maybe next week if we can. He's off, I think, Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday or Thursday. So we might do a show then, Jim, if you're free.
Now it's very possible that I may go to L.A. next week.
Right.
But if I do, I will be with Michael Schratt.
Oh yeah, actually, yes. Well, that's another story. We can talk about Michael later on. And I've already spoken to Michael Schratt the other day, and I said you'll get in touch with him. So anyway, Gerald, now getting back to you, mate, because I don't like you sitting there quite getting away with everything, twiddling your thumbs. I mean, come on, you got to earn your time here, mate. No, but I tell you now, mate, keep up those movies. I really love those movies you're putting on. I mean, just brings back memories. Hey, try to dig up one for me. When I was a kid, I was captive. I couldn't get over the fact they used to have white men dressed up like black men. I mean, this is how primitive it was those days, The show was called Adventures in Paradise with Adam Troy and the Kon-Tiki. I don't know if you remember that at all.
No, I don't remember that at all.
What was the name of it?
It was called Adventures in Paradise with Adam Troy and the Kon-Tiki.
Oh, I remember that. I mean, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, the Kon-Tiki is the schooner that goes around the Pacific and all that, and you'll go island hopping, island to island, taking supplies to islands. But all the natives on these tropical islands were white guys dressed up black with fuzzy wigs on.
Yeah.
I mean, today, you do a movie like that, a TV show like that. I mean, you'll be in big bloody trouble. how times change, you know. It's but they were good. They were good shows, and also another one was Sea Hunt was another good one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
with Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah, and actually, when you had that one on the other day, the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I remember that one. That was 1954.
Yeah, when I was watching that, the first thing that entered my mind, this was made during the same period as Sea Hunt.
Yep.
Same type of scuba gear, the whole lot. You know, it was absolutely fascinating. Jill, you're on a winner on that. If you keep putting those on regularly, mate, you're on a winner for sure. You'll have a lot of people just say, I'm shooting into these black and whites. Yeah, they're great, mate. They really
We're trying to do it every late night. You know, we're calling it the Night Owl Movie Lounge. So it's Friday and Saturday nights late at night. So if you have nothing better to do, come in and watch some old movies. We even brought some Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff
TV shows. And,
well, those aren't even B movies. Some of those are there's C, D, E, and F. There's even a couple Z's in there, I think.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah, I mean, I used to watch Flash Gordon, and it was Ming the Merciless. Those were the days. I mean, like I say, I was a TV kid. Every Saturday, I'd watch The Little Rascals. I would see the Bowery Boys and all the stuff that was shot in the 30s and 40s. Actually, 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Well, I remember as a kid, I used to go to the cinema, and they used to do these trailers, like a mini series before the movie, right? You used to get the guy on the piano on the stage before the movie comes on. They'll do a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Then you had this little series where it was a Western type show, but it had robots in it.
I don't remember that.
No, that was last year in Perth.
Yeah. No, it's funny though. It was funny. I mean,
yeah. So we're trying to
Flash Gordon is another one that was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're trying to stick to monster movies, paranormal, anything scary, mystery. So I love all the old black and white ones, all the ones and shows that you guys are mentioning. But for our show right now, we're trying to stick with the Tarantula and Dracula and all the Blob. We played the Blob the other night.
Or It came from beneath the sea, and them. Yeah.
Well, also too, I mean, in the industry, like it is an industry. I mean, I hate calling it an industry, but what we do, I mean, a lot of people are into the paranormal as well. So, it's like we're into UFO, so you get a lot of Trekkie fans in ufology. You know, I mean, it's like a magnet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same with horror movies, and I mean, you want to talk about monsters, creatures, werewolves, and that. I mean, you got werewolves, so you got Dogman. You know, people chase after. You know what I mean? And you got all these, Bigfoots, and you got and as I said, paranormal spooks. You know, and of course, if you're into that sort of stuff, people find that very entertaining, just the same. You know, which is great, which is absolutely brilliant as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's really good. And whose idea was it? Was it yours or Jane's?
We both thought of it. I kind of mentioned it because I'm always watching black and white movies anyway. I love the old movies. Right. So I thought, let's do a movie night and see what happens. And we're getting pretty good response. I mean, by the time we're doing usually 3 or 4 hours, we'll do like 4 short, TV series, and we'll play a full movie.
Yeah.
And we're getting like 200 views before the show's over.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. I mean, that's brilliant. I'm lucky if I get 14 views by the time you chat. But on the other hand, I mean, it's like I jump in and out on it because it's either, I mean, it's during the day here when it's evening there, and of course, my wife has just gone, I've got a doctor's appointment, I've got to go and get a blood test or got to go shopping and that. So I go with her and I'm watching it on my phone. Wherever I go, except for when I drive, of course,
Right.
that's against the law.
I think a lot of people do pop in and out. I mean, they come in, they say hi, or they're watch for a little while, and they go do something, and they come back later. It's like, man, you're still on.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, guys, I got another little video here. It was from News Nation about the helicopter pilot. I mean, just a little thing. Then we'll change the subject and talk about the future of maybe where Trump's taken ufology for us. You know, so
I mean, they're talking about declassifying everything.
I know that's. And that's why Trump's from News Nation was actually talking about Trump's actually very concerned about his own life. No, I can understand that too. I can understand it. All I can say is he's a very courageous man. Anyway, here we go.
It was extremely valuable to the US government.
That's correct. And after this particular mission, me and everyone on my team got extremely sick, like physically ill in the hospital. Within, weeks after this, I'd lost every hair on my body, and I also lost the skin on my arms.
So the skin's actually falling off your body?
Yeah, like not just falling off, like it was lopping off within a couple of days, like a severe sunburn. I ended up developing a severe heart murmur that I'd never had before.
Last year, I introduced Jake to Stanford immunology professor Gary Nolan. He's been studying anomalous injuries among US military personnel for years at the behest of the CIA. Nolan agreed to review decades of Jake's medical records.
The report reads like a bit of a horror show, to be quite honest. To me, what the first thing that came to mind was you were exposed to some kind of radiation. And especially, as I understand it, a number of his co-workers in the deployments that he was in had similar problems. So you're not dealing with a one-off who went home and somehow came in contact with something in the house, but you have 4 or 5 individuals all at once coming down with the same thing within a week or so after deployment. That's more than a coincidence.
Might push the federal government to act. Witnesses at the congressional UAP hearings have been saying the same thing.
The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think that we can handle it.
Jake Barber has been to Capitol Hill too. News Nation has confirmed that this fall he met with staffers for Florida Senator Marco Rubio, now President-elect Trump's pick for Secretary of State.
I feel I was able to fill in gaps that have been there for a long time that no other whistleblower has been able to do.
A lot of people aren't going to believe this. What do you say to those people?
I'm not here to make anyone believe anything. It's exhausting. I'll paraphrase the book of Matthew. You will know us by our fruits. Stay tuned in and watch what our new project is about to do. And prepare to be dazzled.
Prepare to be dazzled. You know, I lost a little video clip I had earlier in which I got, and he was actually talking about psionics, how the second craft he was retrieving, it actually affected him emotionally, and it made him cry. It felt like you were speaking to him. Spiritually, physically, it affected him. And when he said the word psionics, it brought back memories to me, because many years ago when I used to work at the Prince of Wales Hospital in Sydney, one of the guys I was working there, his brother came in. He was doing his doctorate's degree at Sydney University, and I was asking, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm into psionics, science." And I said, "Psionics? What the freaking hell is psionics?" He says, "I'll show you." And he opened up he had this leather attaché case, leather carry bag, and he put his papers aside, and he put his hand deep and he pulled out this little ball. It's like a little white. To look at it, you swear you're looking at a ping pong ball. And he put it on the table, and he'll say things like forward, backwards, left, and right. And the thing would roll on the table with what he actually said, right? Now, this is going back
1980, it's at least a quarter of a century.
1998, right?
Yeah.
and this technology they were working on then, but I remember before that you remember those old what they call shuffle tables where they play shuffle things.
Yeah.
Right. On it's like a pool size table, right? A pool table size, right? Now they had these guys with these helmets on, right, and they're picking up brainwaves, right, and they were actually playing goalkeeping with it. They can hit it and they'll move it just with thought. And I remember that, and I thought psionics. This is what they're working on. And there's another video I did download and I couldn't find it anywhere, probably because I've been changing. I've got a new computer now, so Jim, probably on the other computer. And it's about 2002, 2003. A woman had electrodes put in her brain, and she can actually sit down. She can't move. She's like a quadriplegic. She can't talk. She can't move her fingers, her hand. The only thing she can move is her eyes and make a grunt with a voice, but she can't speak. And she went from 5 words a minute to 60 words a minute typing with a thought. She can speak 60 words a minute by thought transfer from brainwaves. Now, yes, and this was going back at 2003, 2004 on the old computers and the old technologies. Now we're into the quantum stage, right? And now thousands and thousands of times, heaps faster, put it that way. And now we're talking about these implants now with Elon Musk, the Neuralink, and it's only going to be a matter of time where the Neuralink people have in, it's all going to be Wi-Fi connected, just like a smartphone. So you'll have the Neuralink, which is Wi-Fi connected, and like most idiots will go out there and they'll buy this because it's the latest, and I got all this information in my thought on demand, and that's the scary part, because what concerns me when the government turn around and says we need to cull a few million, they just do a turn off switch, bang, and everybody collapses. I mean, it sounds possible.
That's what deep state would love to do.
Exactly. And so, but this psionics has been around for a long time. Now, even pilots today, as you know, Jim, the helmets they wear, the computers on board those aircraft are so above what we get on Civvy Street, and they track the eye. They can use their target guns with the pupil of their eye. They only have to look at something and they're on target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It focuses. All the weaponry is tuned into to their vision. It's unbelievable. And will it actually work with the new quantum computers? Will they actually operate your aircraft with thought?
Well, I mean, it's like the movie that Clint Eastwood was in, Firefox,
right?
Where you had to think about arming the airplane, and you had to think about, okay, I got to lock on, and then you had to think to fire it, and he managed to do it. And with Firefox, that was late 70s, early 80s. So, I mean, things we saw and read that was science fiction back in the day is now everyday technology.
Yes. And as your friend Ben Rich turned around and said to you, you think about what they showed on Star Trek, Star Wars and all that, like they've done it and been there and done it, and they're not worth doing it anymore.
My dad had an IQ of over 170, and he was always a brainiac. And when he was 11, 12 years old, Grandma Goodall took his Buck Rogers comic books and locked them away. And my dad says, "Mother," he said, "before you die, you will see man walk on the moon." And the day Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon, the phone rang at the house, and it was Grandma calling to tell my dad, I apologize. And she said this back in the 30s. Dad was born in 23. So he would be like 1936, 35, 36 timeframe when this transpired. And she remembered it. I mean, 40 years later. So, stuff, Jules Verne, when they calculate the weight of his moon rocket, it was about the same size as the Apollo capsule. The amount of TNT they used in the cannon to shoot him to the moon was pretty much equivalent to the estimated thrust of the Saturn V. I mean, you start going through the whole thing, and truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really. I mean, it's no matter what you've read. I mean, there was someone came out with a new flavor or a new condiment to put on your stuff, and it was called Soylent Green, and it was green, and Soylent Green came out, and as far as the movies go, I think it was 2023 or 2024 when Soylent Green allegedly came out, and some company puts it Soylent Green. Now, if you're an old fart, some of us are, you can remember that stuff. But there's kids out there, young adults in their 40s or 50s, that never heard the term Soylent Green, so they have no idea or concept. What was it? Well. And when they say eat your heart out or have your neighbor over for dinner, that was sort of what it was. But so and all of the all of this the science fiction stuff that we saw as kids are all real now. It's not science fiction; it's science fact. And what I'm not waiting for is for the Predator or for the mother from Alien to land here and decided that they're terrified of our cats. I think cats.
Yeah, it's like going back to the 60s and 70s where the Polaris submarines were the first from Britain. Were the first ones to have what they call GPS systems. And the GPS systems were about 2.5 feet wide with double handle, and they used to go on racks. And they were top secret, classified for nearly 40 odd years before they actually came on the open market. And then, of course, the first GPS came out was a tablet, as you know, tablet size, and cost an arm and a leg to buy. Now every cell phone's got a GPS in it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And we've gone from a 4 transistor radio down to a 28 million transistor in your cell phone. I mean, talk about technology. Now, when we really look at it, people have got to really understand is that every bit of technology, people used to say it's impossible, started off with imagination.
Yep.
It's the imagination. If you can dream it, you can create it. Because it's only just a matter of time. And if you can't, you can start something. You may not finish it, but those following you behind you will carry on your work, and eventually somebody will get there and complete it for you.
Yeah,
and it's marvelous. It really is marvelous where science is taking us. And see, I'm a firm believer there are cures for things like the deep state's kept away things like cures for cancer, and I'm honestly believe that, right? I mean,
I do too. I mean, honestly.
I mean, what's the old saying on Facebook? They turn around and say, "A patient cured is a customer lost," and basically that's what it is. It's a multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar industry when you look at on the global sense, So,
but they have a rude awakening coming. It's called Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr.
Oh, yes. I was really amazed by that interview. Sorry for cutting you off there, Jim.
That's all right.
Because he turned around and said, and this last interview I watched, he says, everybody told me not to trust Donald Trump. But when I met him and shook his hand and felt his grip and looked me straight in the face, and he's been true to his word ever since, he says, you know, this man's going to lead. He's going to lead, and he's fearless, and he's putting his life at risk for it too, believe it or not. And he really is.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, he says, you know, getting shot at and hit does change a person's perspective on things and what's important.
Yeah.
And I think I honestly believe he was protected by God.
Yeah. Well,
God doesn't choose perfect people for the perfect job. He chooses imperfect people that know how to get the job done. And I think that's what we have.
I think that one of the biggest mistakes he's made so far, I mean, personally, but hey, I don't know the big picture at the end, but when it comes to the tariffs, you know, he shouldn't have hit Canada so hard. I mean,
no. As someone who's spent a lot of time up in Canada, it's that, you know, fucking Trudeau. And,
I don't know the full story. I'm on the land down under, mate. You know?
Yeah. No, I just, you know, they have all sorts of obscene tariffs on our stuff going into Canada, just like the Europeans do. So, like Trump said, we're gonna even up and level off the playing field. If you're going to have a percentage duty on X, then we're going to have the equivalent as far as, you know, total amount of revenue being generated on Y or Z or W, whatever. And how fast did Canada or Mexico sort of back down on stuff?
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, almost immediate. It was almost instant. So no, and the Europeans, I mean, Americans can sell almost nothing to Europe.
Yeah,
because
the common market, it's either made in Germany or it's made in France. You know.
Yeah.
That's why Britain pulled out of it.
Yeah.
Britain pulled out of it because of that factor, and instead of keeping all the workforce, they sent them all off to Britain. So you had all the refugees going to Great Britain, and they didn't have the industry for them. Where they had it in Germany and Spain and all those other countries, they had the industry for them. You know.
Germany is on the verge of imploding. Most of Europe is turning, you know, heading full speed over the cliff as far as socialism.
Has Trump actually given notice to all American companies to bring the companies back to America?
Oh yeah,
rather than manufacture overseas, like saying you've got time to do
a lot of the industry leaders, but really he doesn't have to. If he's putting tariffs on overseas for any product coming on, they have no choice but to come here again.
And he said, yeah, I'm going to put a 25% tariff on such and such product, and if you don't want that tariff, build it here, manufacture it here. So and he's going to do that around the world. And see, he's not worried about being reelected. And he has had 4 years of planning this, every detail. He knows what he's going to do on November 1st, 2028. He knows what what will be put down on November 1st for him to sign or whatever. No, he's for the last 4 years. First of all, he knows where all the bodies are buried, because for the 4 years that he was president, even though he was getting blocked by by deep state and other nefarious
and what's going to happen with all these politicians that have been rorting the system? Didn't Joe Biden give them a presidential pardon?
Well, one thing that I can't remember what Congress critter put it up. He said, if you were a congressman or a senator and you were given a pardon, then you must be removed from one, you're going to have your security clearance removed, eliminated. You're going to be taken off of any committee that you're on. I don't give a damn who you are, from Adam Schiff for Brains on. And it's what it is. I mean, it's
today a judge ruled that the pardons were unconstitutional, that you cannot pardon somebody that has not committed a crime
absolutely
or been charged.
Yeah, I've been posting that on Facebook and X.
What's this? Some legal battle going on now towards Elon Musk about some damn thing I was reading earlier on. I forget what it was.
Well, there's a lot of people on the left and in deep state that are butthurt.
Right.
My God, he forced back $59 million that was illegally given off to the city of New York to pay for illegal aliens being put up in luxury hotels. And it's just, screw them. I mean,
I mean, that's sad to hear that, especially when you've got all the vets with one leg, some of them with no legs, living on the friggin' streets in America. People that need that help.
And what pisses me off more than almost anything is the fact that the left is a full court press on saying this is to America, but we'll do anything for illegal aliens sneaking into our country. And they have, and they've proved it, every goddamn day you see one of these idiots up there, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff for Brains, and then Maxine Waters. That woman deserves to be up against the wall, smoking her last cigarette with a blindfold on.
You know what? I was watching a press conference with Donald Trump yesterday, and this guy from this bloody network, I'm not sure, was it CNN or whatever? I mean, Trump was telling him to shut up and sit down, and the guy just totally ignored Donald Trump. And the woman came up to take the microphone, and he pulled away, and he more or less told this girl to buzz off. This reporter.
Yeah.
And Trump said to him, don't be rude. I've answered your question. You're fake news. And he said straight out, look, I don't like what you're doing. But the guy persisted to carry. Now, as a president of the United States, he's got security forces in there. Yeah, he should have got one of his bloody. When somebody acts like that inappropriately and refuses to hand a microphone when the president of the United States says, I'm done talking to you, right? The guy should know to give up the microphone. Now, if he doesn't, then those bloody Secret Service people should remove him from the and also say you don't get presidential friggin' interviews anymore. That's it. Yeah. You don't have that privilege anymore.
Yeah, and the young lady from CNN is going to lose her White House press pass. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
And when it comes to ufology, what do you think is going to happen, guys? I'll let you go first, Gerald.
Well, it's really hard to say because we've had this before where they say they're going to disclose stuff and nothing ever comes of it. They don't ever tell us anything. But now that Trump is saying we're going to release all the records on all this stuff,
he's declassifying everything. He's declassifying everything.
Yes, except one thing. I recall he was actually saying, I want to classify everything right up to the point where weaponry technology has to stay classified. You can't say, well, we've got technology that can wipe out another emissary, another country with a flick of a finger. I mean, certain things have to stay secret, but saying things like,
I mean,
yes,
they have that capability right now. It's called a hydrogen bomb.
Oh yeah, but the point is, Jim, what I'm getting at is that you can turn around and say, yes, we have the technology. We have advanced so much in technology, but he doesn't have to say in what. He can still keep that classified, but acknowledge the fact, yes, we do have that technology. Now, the question is what's happening in Congress at the moment. Instead of saying we're going to have openness and talk about it, we've got to start asking specific questions. You know, I mean, basic things, you know, don't leave it open. Say, look, here's a couple of weeks. You're going into Congress in a couple of weeks. This is the question we're asking, and we want you to give us answers. Hey, guess who's just turned up? Howdy, there, Clay. How are you, mate?
Son of a bitch.
How you guys doing?
Clay from Conspiracy Music. How are you, mate?
Doing good. Hope you guys are doing well.
Oh,
Yeah, we are.
Mate.
We are.
Always.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're covering a lot of issues here today, and a lot of things. But I'll continue what I was saying. Yes, Jim. I don't know. I mean, I don't look personally. I don't like these career men coming in, and I've always feel uncomfortable with people like. I mean, surely they're nice guys, but they've got a job. They're career men. You know, I mean, you don't get picked for a job with high security clearance, knowing that you're going to walk away from and open your bloody mouth, because they go through psychological profiles. These guys, you know, I mean, you don't put people like that that's going to talk. You know, they're career men and they're patriots, and they're psychologically profiled. And people like Luis Elizondo, David Grush, and now this new guy. I mean, I find it for some reason it just puts a lump in my throat. And it's like, you know, but pushing those aside, I think maybe with Donald Trump and his investigating teams, I think we might really get somewhere. Because
President Trump has told every agency of the United States government, you are to release and send to, I don't know if it's sent to a specific location or specific person, anything and everything that you have on unknown aerial phenomena, also known as UFOs or flying saucers.
Yes, and also I like to also see what happens about JFK and also 9/11 as well. That'd be very interesting.
Well, I heard Trump say, or it was Trump or maybe it was JD Vance, but they were releasing 80% of the JFK stuff. Now I'm saying to myself, why is it only 80%?
Yeah.
I think I heard that on Redacted, where I might have heard that.
Yeah, now they're saying there wasn't one shooter, there was two shooters.
Right.
Yes.
Or more.
Yes.
Yeah. And the one thing that we have now in the White House, we have Carolyn Levitt. She is an absolute sweetheart. I mean, she's prepared, she's smart, she's bubbly, she's actually a beautiful young woman, and she's not putting up with any crap from the lamestream media. And I love her her jab at the AP when she was going about saying something about the lies and stuff that you post or whatever. And
she's an excellent speaker, straight to the point.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Not like that, not like Biden's one that used to stand with the fuzzy hair, with the babbling of bloody words, and you couldn't speak straight and couldn't look people in the eyes. You know what I mean?
The toilet brush you're talking about? Yeah.
What's your take on this, Clay?
Well, we're still pretty early on into this whole thing, so
it hasn't even been a month.
I'm liking what's being done right away. I mean, I already see a lot in the negative comments. Well, he said the price of eggs are going to be down in 24 hours. I'm paying $12 for a dozen of eggs. And I'm like, if you're paying $12 for a dozen of eggs, you're the dumbass, not him.
Hey,
But
the
I
other day.
understand that they are paying a lot of stuff
Yeah,
in
well, believe it or
places
not-
like California, but that's California.
Yeah, there's been a war against our food supply for the last 4 years.
We,
I think
we
we
just
paid
bought,
like
we
four
just
four
bought two
something for a
dozen,
dozen.
2 dozen large eggs the other day at Costco's, right? And it cost $9.50 Australian.
Yeah, that's about what
That's
we're.
about $2 US.
For 2 dozen.
Yeah, $2.
I think we're.
Yeah.
I think we're paying about like right around $4 where we're at. But I seen people posting in comments, "Hey, we're only paying $2.30." If you know a local farmer, you can probably get them for $1.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, your prices will drop dramatically once you've got the fuel line coming through. Once you
And-
start pumping oil from Alaska straight down, mate, you watch, mate. Transportation's going to drop. Prices will drop dramatically, and yeah, manufacturing, bang.
Yep.
Well,
Trump
now-
just opened up all the drilling areas for lease now for contract again that Biden tried to outlaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
200 was it 230 million acres, or I can't remember. Maybe it's 300 million. I don't know. There's a lot of places that you can drill for oil now.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much backing now Elon Musk is going to get from the U.S. government towards his
Ooh,
space
I know.
exploration.
I don't
know
think
he's getting a lot of hate right now from.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting a penny. He doesn't need it. I mean, when he's been interviewed and they're saying, well, it'll affect this, your company, it'll affect, Tesla or SpaceX. He said, it doesn't bother me to lose money. I'll just make more. So, so he's not going to, yeah. And it's like Trump and the rest of the billionaires that he has in his cabinet. I mean, you look at the clown car full of idiots that Bite Me had, and then you look at the brain trust that Trump has. I mean, it's not even black and white. I mean, it's back in the caveman days to Star Trek as far as the difference.
I feel like he should have done like a WWE wrestling introduction to all of these people.
Yeah, bit of a body slam, do you reckon?
Fireworks come off in this guitar. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful.
And for press secretary, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead of doing his dance. Wonderful. But with the new technology that's coming out today, I mean, it looks like Tesla cars are going to be going by the wayside with that, because I can actually see now that hydrogen's actually coming in strong.
There was a guy from Provo, Utah, back in the 70s. I can't remember his name, but he was real big on hydrogen-powered cars and stuff like that, and they were trying to get something going. We don't have the infrastructure, and to create an infrastructure, much like charging stations. I mean, $80 billion or $81 billion, and well, we didn't get one. I wonder where that money went to. But you're gonna need special trucks to haul the stuff, and it's going to come out as clean energy, if you want to call it that, but it requires a tremendous amount of energy to pull the hydrogen out of either a hydrocarbon or out of water or however they're going to do it, and then liquefy it. I mean, we're talking about 1 or 2 degrees Kelvin with liquid hydrogen. And I can remember as a kid, my dad helped put the engineering department at San Jose State together back in the 50s. And they had engineering week. I went there, and the most fascinating thing they had a vessel. It was clear. It was clear. It was like glass. I don't know if it was made of glass, but it was liquid helium, and it was blue, and it was sort of bubbling. And they said, this is within a degree or so of absolute zero. And
the thing about hydrogen too, it's going to be under pressure. I mean, it'd have to be pressurized. So I know I just did a quick Google search, and there's 2 hydrogen cars currently in the state of Utah, believe it or not.
Well, that's where that's where the hydrogen thing got a push back in the 70s.
Yes, as of 2023, there were only a couple of hydrogen-powered vehicles registered in Utah. A Hyundai Nexo, an SUV that uses hydrogen fuel cell technology and has a spacious interior, and a Toyota Mirai, a fuel cell car with a futuristic design, aerodynamic proportions, and LED headlights.
Didn't Bob Lazar had a Corvette running on hydrogen?
Yep. And I asked him about it, and he said the materials that he used back in the day were like going to your local sand and gravel place and getting a pickup truck full of sand or whatever. It was cheap. And he said with regulations that have gone into effect and everything else, now it's prohibited.
Yeah, of course. I mean, fuel companies are going to lose money, aren't they? I mean, the deep state.
Yeah. So I asked him, because I said, hey, I would do it for Rosemary's car because she just putzes around town. And he said, no. I said, that stuff has got so incredibly expensive that he had to drop it.
Well, you can buy those DIY kits to make bubblers and stuff, as an additive to your fuel system.
Yeah, but I believe Toyota are kind of working. They've already got the prototype vehicle going. They actually got quite a few vehicles test driving in Australia, but I know they're working on hydrogen manufacturing at the moment, trying to bring the price of producing hydrogen so they can sell it like a fuel rather than have to create it themselves in the vehicles. Because I believe the fuel cells in the car now, they've improved them to a fact that the safety of them is better than actual having carrying petroleum. So that's how good they've got it now. Now they're looking at manufacturing hydrogen, so you can just go up to a Bowser and go boom, fill it up, and off you go.
Yeah, but there are dealing with cryogenic fuels for the general public now. Airplane crews do it all the time. If they're, when they're, I know at least as far as the military is concerned, they're constantly dealing with liquid hydrogen or liquid oxygen for breathing and stuff. So it's, they're used to handling it, but the general public, when you're dealing something that could, if you've spilled some on your hand, it isn't, oh shit, I should better go to the doctor. Is, oh my gosh, I just touched my fingers and they just crumbled and they broke off on the floor because there was frozen. My hand was frozen solid. I mean,
you're like poetry there. I had this mental picture going from where did my hand go?
Yeah. Speaking about hands, there was this was in the Caribbean or that part of the world, and there was a woman. She was in I think the Turks area on those islands in the Caribbean, and she wanted to go to get someone to take a picture of her. She wanted a selfie with a bull shark. It took both her hands. It literally bit off both her hands. I mean, and one of the most nastiest sharks with bad attitudes that you can find are bull sharks. And of course, it freaked everybody out. But as Forrest would say, stupid is as stupid does. So, I mean, it's a shame when you lose parts of your body due to stupidity.
Here's my dog trying to get in on a show there.
I don't mind. I don't mind dogs. I have a dog.
Where do you think? Okay, where do you think technology is going to take us? What do you think we'll end up seeing in the near future, Jim? Technology.
I think in this calendar year, I think in 2025, my gut tells me that we're gonna see the most transformational change in the world in the next 10 months. And it all has to do with the election of Donald J. Trump.
Do you think we'll see anti-graphitics, anti-gravity?
I think we're going to see it all. I really do. And they've been implying that. President Trump has been implying it through the electioneering process to the election to now. He's still saying that we're going to declassify JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, 9/11, UFOs, and just down the line. And he's a man of his word.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you want to make it right with the people, you should just open up all the books and say, "Here's everything. Here's everything we know."
Yeah, I think there's plenty of researchers out there to read through it all, mate, and make it public.
Not that we'll ever see something like that happen, but that would be cool if it
I think that is going to happen.
It's a little bit. At least he is doing some of that. At least he's opening up a few of the chapters so we get a peek in. So, I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
It's going back during the 50s and 60s. I mean, every magazine used to open, they talk about, science was talking about anti-gravity this, anti-gravity that. Even TV shows, the Jensens and stuff like that. I mean, everybody was talking about anti-gravity, and all of a sudden it's like somebody turned the switch off overnight. Boom. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Well, I mean, people talk about it. It's just not being reported anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. That's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, guys, look, we're going on to 17 minutes past the hour now, and we'll give it a few more minutes, and then we'll call it a quits for today. And I'm thoroughly enjoying the conversation. I'll tell you that now. It's been a while, guys, and I wasn't really 100% prepared, but I knew I had to do a show today.
Well, are you ever 100% prepared?
No, well, let's put it this way. I'm definitely not 100% there.
Yeah, you're not 100% anywhere. I know. Yeah.
But I'm a lovable guy. Really, deep down, I am.
Yeah.
My wife might think otherwise. I don't know. Yeah. She loves me. I know she does. She just because she puts up with me. See, so that's how I know. But yes. So listen, guys. I'm going to call it quits for today, and thank you very much, Clay, for joining us in the end.
You betcha.
Yeah, it's good seeing your face. And
good seeing you guys.
Gerald, thank you for joining me today. Much appreciated, kind sir.
Thanks for asking me.
Yeah. Oh, and you, young fella. Well, we know you. You know me. Everybody knows you. And we must remember one thing. Everybody be nice to each other. Be kind. This is what B says here. Be nice, be kind, and aspire to inspire one another. And as our good friend Doc Skinner would turn around and say, let's lift each other up so we can all rise up together. Because there's something, it's not a competition. It's about a community. That's what it's all about.
Speaking about Doc, I spent last Saturday evening with him at the Reynolds Ranch, It's about 25 miles north of Sholo.
That's a brilliant place, isn't it? I mean, Doc showed me through that. Oh, talk about save the planet, save the trees. I mean, talk about a log cabin, mate. It's a mansion.
Well, no, it's a nice size, but it was like the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose. It was sort of put together willy-nilly, but it's a cool place. It's on 40 acres. The problem was the only heat on that end of the house is a wood fire like a potbelly stove.
Mm. Thank you for joining us, Elsa. Much appreciate you coming. And we'll get Elsa on the show one day. She has her own little podcast going there, so it'd be nice to have her on and have a chin mag with the boys. So it's what we're all about, Mr. B and friends, and that's what we are, friends. And
it got down to 20 right around 20 degrees Fahrenheit the night I was there, and thank goodness he did have a small portable heater that I brought in the room, and they brought it up, but it was just friggin' cold up there.
Well, I'm sweating the evenings here, Jim, at the moment. And we've got the aircon on constantly, and it's been 23 degrees Celsius at night at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hot, very hot.
And humid.
Yeah, we don't usually get humid here all that much, but when we have a cyclone up north, the pressure changes, and then it gets very hot here in Perth. Very hot.
I think it was 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I mean, the only thing I watch on news is the weather on the local weather station, channels, the local TV channels, and we had a dew point. Of course, that determines just how humid it is. We had a dew point of minus 20 degrees.
Wow.
Now that's 52 degrees below freezing.
Now, have you ever heard the expression? Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not being rude or crude here, but it is actually a saying. Have you ever heard the expression, it's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey?
Yep. Yeah.
Do you know what the brass monkey is?
Yep.
Just for those people who don't, it's a brass triangle with impressions on it. It's on the sailing ships, there's to put cannonballs on them to stop them from rolling around on the deck. And that'd be next to the guns, right? Now, when ships go up further up into the northern hemisphere, metal retracts, the cannonballs fall off the triangle and roll around the deck. So that's where the old saying comes, it's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. But the other day, or last winter, I found a monkey looking for a welder. Okay, listen, guys, this is Mr. B signing off, and thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show and staying with us, putting up with us old geezers and old fellas, old farts, what do you want to call us? But we will be back again, and I'll be better prepared next time. More videos, more bit of a giggle here and there, and hey, we just love being on here. It's a social, it's our social thing, it's where we catch up with mates from all around the world, and it's good fun. It's good fun, and we believe what we do and what we say, and we can take the mickey out of each other. We can challenge each other's opinions. We don't get offended by it because we're friends, and that's what it's all about. Hey, my reality is different to your reality. We all see things different through different eyes. So. Okay, everybody. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. I must remove you all from the stage now, and thank you all for joining us. And everybody, thank you for joining us here, and it's been absolutely fun. Now, all I can say is, and I said before, and I'll repeat myself again, like old men do. Thank you for joining us. This is Mr. B signing out.